right. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Digi Dojo. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks, so a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on. But, we had a lot going on with ASEN, Anime Central. We've got regionals that kind of wrapped up for the last set for the last meta. So it's been a busy time, a lot to catch up on, and we'll be definitely touching on all those topics here today. For those of you tuning in for the first time, we're trying to use this podcast to talk about meta, deck building, set releases, and sort of discussions amongst the game itself as things pop up. Our YouTube channel, Hyper Coliseum, is where we'll be uploading this video along with a lot of videos that we have at our locals. So thank you, Jarrell, once again for uploading all of those and, kind of helping us keep the content stream going. So my name's Ben. TJ we have up above me. Jarrell is our content uploader and our king. And then we've got RB joining us once again. Third episode in a row.
I'm the permanent guest.
Actually, I guess what's our orientation for you, Jarrell? Because you're the one recording it.
I've got myself in the top left. I've got you next to me, top right. Ben's below me,
below you.
And then RB's in the other corner.
Yeah, I see that too.
Yes, I am Jarrell now.
Yep.
So we're all over the place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Regardless, thanks for tuning in once again, and hope you enjoyed the episode. So I think our first topic of discussion will be sort of the last set of regionals that we just had, which sort of wraps up the last set or the last meta for us as we kind of go into sort of UltiCup format, and then with the new set dropping at the end of June, a whole new meta to kind of deal with. So this one was Top Cut. We had two actually. So Top Cut was our online one, and then we had MomoCon, which I believe was in Atlanta, which was an actual in-person regional. So none of us were at MomoCon, but TJ and I were both able to participate in Top Cut. And I think we'll take a second to reflect on Top Cut's results, and then we can kind of touch upon MomoCon since we do have the winning and topping deck lists from those. So TJ, did you want to give it a go and kind of talk about what your experience was like for Top Cut?
Sure, yeah. So Top Cut for me was it was all right. So there was a repairing round one. Initially, I was going to play one of the players on stream. I cannot remember her name, but she was playing Machine Dramon and she had a Sino Bali mat. I'm pretty sure she was playing Machine Dramon based off of her Machine Dramon Sino Bali mat. But I was initially going to play against her. And then, I'm hearing myself.
Oh.
That's weird. Anyways, after that, there was a repairing, and I ended up playing against the best matchup for me, which I was playing Bielsamon for the weekend. Sorry, I'm trying to find my list for matchups. I know I sent it to you, but there it is. Okay, so I was playing Bielsamon for the regional because it was like last hurrah before the Banlist hit, which we'll touch on in a minute. Mm-hmm. And initially I was going to play against Machine Dramon player, and instead I got repaired into a D-Reaper player. They're a D-Reaper player that's actually like in our area nearby. They play at a shop not too far. I know some of their friends, yeah. But he was a good player, but I was just like, are you fucking kidding? I'm gonna get repaired into one of like the 4 D-Reaper players that showed up today. They're just here to curse Bielsamon players. And I was like, well, it is what it is. I got 0-2 because I couldn't see my pieces fast enough. Game 1, I was able to get to a Bielsamon, but I didn't get to the structure deck BLs, so I just didn't have enough aggression to really go for game or anything. And he had a gatekeeper down so fast with enough sources there, and he was using X antibody tech to make sure he had enough sources under all that good stuff. Second round was D Brigade, so I lost that round. Second round was D Brigade. I won that one. It was just pretty straight up. I played really fast, and D Brigade just wasn't able to keep any presence on board because I kept on milling effects that pops things. And I had structure deck imp under, so every time I was milling something, it was popping on this one. But yeah, it was bad. So he literally just had no board presence at any time.
When you say that, I imagine like little decoy commander. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's the one campaigner or Commandramon just hitting bombs.
I actually didn't have campaigner or Commandramons.
Oh
So I was
no.
like, wow.
Interesting.
It was funny though, because when we started the game, he was like, yeah, I lost round 1 to a Beelzemon already. He's like, I'm not worried. I was like, I got tech, and then I 2-0'd him, and I was like, yeah, sorry. Round 3 was Beelzemon Mirror, which I lost. I think we went game. I can't remember if we went game 3. He might have 2-0'd me. I had some pretty rough shuffling initially. Round 4 was Blackwell Gray X, which I lost. And that guy went on to. I think the thing is, there was only one person out of the 9 rounds we went through that actually stuck through the rest of the thing. All the people that beat me early on then proceeded to lose every round after me and then dropped. And I was like, God damn it. But I was like, you're supposed to drag me up. But the Blackwell Gray player beat me. And then I was 1-3, and I was like, okay, I could just drop now and just go and chill the rest of the day. I'm not going to get top 32 or anything like that. Like, it's already way out the window. Like, the best I could do is maybe, is hopefully top 128, maybe top 64 if I did, especially good. Because I think it was top 64, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's super iffy. It depends on my opponent's matchups. And at the time, my other opponents were all doing good. They were 3 in, they were 2-2. They were still even. They weren't terrible. And I was like, and then my one friend, Rizzle, basically told me, he's like, yeah, you know what's gonna happen now, right? And I'm like, what? And he's like, if you play the rest of the day, you're gonna win every match. And I'm like, no, it won't. It's not gonna happen. So I was like, I'll play one more and we'll see how it goes. And then I proceeded to win every match for the rest of the day. And so I went on a 5-win streak against Red Hybrid, War Greymon, Hunters, War Greymon. And then the coolest matchup, probably the most fun matchup I had all day, which went to game 3, was a Bagra Hunter deck.
Oh.
Shout out to Captain. I'm not going to say the rest of his Discord name because I don't know if I probably shouldn't. But anyway, Captain, part of his name. Super cool guy. He was my 9th round opponent, and he was this Bagra Hunter deck. I had him send me the list. It was so much fun to play against, and it looked so interesting to play. There's a few of the texts that I maybe would have adjusted there, mate, after watching how it played and seeing the list he sent me. And the list he sent me was a little bit off the list he was playing because he made a few last minute changes, he said. But it was super cool. It was honestly a really awesome list, and it worked really well. Because he basically just focused more on having Ostamon and Quartz. Like, he ran 3 Quartzmon, and he basically just focused more on that engine while using Bagra low-end purple stuff. But yeah, that was really fun. But that's how it went for me. So I ended up going 6-3. I got 69th place. Nice. So I can't be too mad at it. I was pretty happy. It really all changed after round 4 when I did a pile shuffle and then mashed again, and basically just kind of reset my shuffle. And then after that, I started doing better. So
yeah, I think well deserved too. I mean, you were grinding it out for a few weeks beforehand, so
I've
good showing.
I've played so much Beelzemon.
And you're gonna keep playing Beelzemon.
I dream of cards being burned from tops of decks. That's what my dreams are filled with. But yeah, that was me. It was good. It was a fun time. You can definitely tell we're getting to the end of a format because a lot of people are starting to get very, very stir crazy, I guess is the best way to put it. People seem very, very sort of fed up with a lot of stuff and are just wanting to see something new or whatever. There was a couple of times where I turned on my camera when I joined the room and they'd see the Beelzemon playmat and they'd just go and I sat there and I'm just like, I'm so sorry, man. Let's just try to have fun, right? But yeah, how about
I feel like we've also seen that a lot too with just every set, right? I feel like every set there's been this bogey or boogie deck where everybody's we just want to get this over with.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we've had this discussion already and we don't have to touch upon it again, but I mean, Beelza being a very strong deck and arguably best deck of format, definitely, yeah. I mean, there's definitely a salt factor, I feel like.
Yeah. Agreed.
we're really late into the format now, so
EX4 though.
it's been solved.
Yeah, and I think that the ban list that we talked about definitely will add a little kind of layer to that too. I think in regards to my experience at Top Cut, definitely wasn't my best showing. Definitely, I think I once again tried to get too cute and tried to go like against meta and just try something that I felt countered it. But I mean, I think it was a good experience. I definitely wanted to play this deck at some point because being a Black War player back over in like BT-8, BT-9 format, I was like really waiting for this and like really like wanting to see Black War Grey X, but like didn't have a chance to play it back in like February when it first like sort of came to. And I actually like never really played it at locals either. So I think this was like finally the first time I could actually like play Black War, which I thought I like, you know, I still like had fun with the deck to a degree, but it was rough. Like I just think it suffered from a lot of issues that Black War or most red decks will have, which is just, you know, you need to build the stack, and if you don't have the pieces to build the stack, you're kind of a thin duck, you know? So when it does go off, like I remember my first matchup was against Max Tapera. So shout outs to him. It was a fun match. We had a lot of back and forth. So it was a good one. Like the second one, I got into Black War Grey X like I think turn 3, I think, and he just was like, I don't know what to do. Like I can't do anything, and like it was basically it. I had a Black War Grey X stack and I think a Gaio stack too, which when he was playing Bloom, I was just like popping guys left and right on his side. But when I braked, it was bad. It was just really bad. So I think that was just sort of the story of the day for me. I pretty much faced the whole gauntlet of different decks. So like I've played against the Bloom Quartz, I played against a Bielsa, I played against a Hunter. Yeah, I played against the Hunters. I played against a couple War Greys. Played against one Black War Grey Mirror. So all in all, it was like pretty diverse group of decks, but just one of those days, you know, the deck doesn't really want to work. So it is what it is. You know, I think it was an experience. We learn from it, we move on. I think Black War as a deck is still like pretty good though. You know, I think we were talking about that before we hopped on. Like it's still a good deck. I think it does, like when it gets to do what it wants to do, it has a pretty favorable matchup against most, you know, I think matchups in the meta. It's just a matter of getting there, you know.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues for Black War has outside of being both a red and black deck that, you know, are notorious for sometimes struggling to find their pieces, is also just the fact that it's expensive. And you know, that's what Greymon X solved, right? That's what made the deck so terrifying in BT-11, was that you solved your memory problem. You were basically one turn faster, which was always Black War's issue of I'm always just one turn too slow.
Yeah.
And now there's still tools that can help it. With like the new tie, can still be really good for it for gaining a memory back when you Digivolve into a card with Greymon or Omnimon in its name, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, losing the Greymon X, being slower, definitely is another hindrance on top of being hard to find pieces. But when you see that thing hit the board and it does have the right stack, oh mama, is it a whole pain to try and get through.
Yeah.
And I was gonna, I think you weren't able to really play at shops during BT-11 much. I feel like, if I remember right, I feel like you were busy a lot of the times the locals were going on.
Yeah.
That's when we were playing a lot of cam games.
Yeah. I think work just had me real busy, so yeah, we were just camming a lot most of the time. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm definitely gonna keep trying to make the deck work. You know, I keep trying to tinker with ratios and see like what can make it go, but I think we'll take a break from it for a while in terms of competitive play.
Make people cry when you blow up all their tamers.
I'm telling you, man, full Gaiomon EX4.
Who knows? Maybe.
I mean, looking at the topping list for both MomoCon and Top Cut, looks like at least like 2 or 3 Black Wars did make it in the top 16. Yeah. One of them, funny enough, is one of the guys over in the California server who got 12th, which is actually like crazy good for him.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then Sunny, I think was playing. I think he was playing Bielsamon. Ended up getting 36th.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah. So not
Yep,
top
might have a
32,
big
but I mean
showing.
he's definitely putting the work in.
Jeez, MomoCon was 9 Beals X.
Yeah, for top 16.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But Hunter's took it, right?
yeah, it did.
Hunters did.
Hunter's got first and third.
I mean, Hunters is one of those decks where, you know, if you just go faster than Beelzemon or have the pieces to go faster than Beelzemon, it's hard for them to react. Like that matchup is 100% a race. Like who can kill the other person faster? Because there's no defense unless you're just tucking the Beelzemon underneath the Eye Mako, and even if you're doing that, it's just a race for you to get there. Like
and Hunters too. It's a deck that definitely I'm glad it topped because I don't think we've had a Hunters top yet. I think it's been Red High BLs, Machine.
No, I think we've seen Hunters top, just not like a win. Like,
well, that's what I was saying. It's first place. Yeah. Which it definitely is completely capable of doing without a doubt. It's nice to see it do it. Because I feel like some people sleep on Hunters. I feel like a lot of people.
I don't know if people sleep on Hunters.
I don't know. I've definitely seen people talk on like Reddit and Facebook that just like complain about the deck, but not like that it's bad. But not that like it's like a threat, but more they're just like, why is this deck so poo-poo? And it's like, well, it's not the deck.
Right. I think we touched on it last time too, right? Where it's like,
Hunters.
You know, it's a very high ceiling.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you make those right plays and you read those right, you can blow people out of the water really quickly. But it's so there's also just some RNG to it, right? Where like sometimes you'll do the perfect plays. You'll get your superior mode, you'll make that counterplay, you'll swing into Beelzemon security, and then all of a sudden it's a rival's barrage and your guy's gone.
And then you don't recover
and all your sources are gone.
pieces. You don't recover
And
those.
then you have 2 cards in hand, and you're just praying.
And I mean, I think it's interesting too in the sense that like I feel like as a deck that's very combo reliant and probably I think for the first time in a while like something that's like pilot dependent, right? Like getting through a 9-round tournament that goes the full 9 hours, right? Like your brain's probably fried after like round 5. Playing that deck, you know. So like the fact that you need to pilot it optimally every single round and the window for error gets bigger with each hour that you play probably speaks to just like, I mean, kudos to the folks who do pilot it, you know, all the way and can do it for that long. You know, like clearly they did the work.
The deck is really good. It's just, it can take a lot out of you. You don't want to think about, you know, do I play this Digimon out for 2 memory? Am I gonna have enough pieces to, you know, keep winning the game? I think Jarrell, when you were playing Hunters this week, you were like, oh, I accidentally tucked my Arrestodramon underneath.
Yeah, against CJ.
Yeah. That happens a lot. Like if you tuck the wrong piece underneath the tamer, you can't just be like, oh, can I have that back?
You look at the card and you're like, ah, shit.
Help.
Oh man. But yeah, what else we did good at MomoCon? Machine Dramon also got up there. He snuck one in.
Yeah.
Which is good. Dude, Machine. I'm glad Oceania had like, what was it, like 5 or 6 machine winners. Machine is scary right now, man. Like when that Chaos Dramon X hits the board, God, it is. Well, and it's crazy too, right? Because like the fact that you can just do Chaos Dramon's effect twice, you can just Digivolve 6 and get 6 cards under that stack. Like I think Machine Dramon's definitely another one of those decks that's very pilot dependent, a lot like Hunters is, but it's a lot. It also can just brick a lot more easily than Hunters does.
Yeah, that's probably why we haven't seen it top that much in the US. Just
and
I think people just aren't willing to take it.
It's pretty slow too. Like I know it's sort of like it has that Black War feel, right? Like once that like big guy hits the board, it's pretty tough. But like getting the big guy is a lot of the struggle.
The thing is if they make the well, not the misplay, but if they make the play of digivolving to level 5 out on the board without a guy back, without having anything raising, if they raise that turn and go into level 5, or they go even if they go into the BT-11 Machine Dramon, if they don't have that other Machine Dramon in hand, it's all just bad news. Because if you clear that stack, then they're instantly like 2 turns slower. Yeah. And they have to try and work back up. But I noticed a lot of people are not running heavy mobile anymore. They're not running attack with heavy mobile. People are opting to just play more consistent and defensively rather than needing that rush strat to just swing for game. Just smart. But Machine definitely deserves to be up there, and I think we'll probably see more Machine players now that Beelzemon is dead.
It's not. What do you mean it's dead?
Says the guy who topped our locals literally yesterday.
All right,
it's a joke, or is it a segue?
It's a joke. I mean, it could be a segue if you wanted to be.
Speaking of dead.
Hold on.
Speaking of dead, there's still 30 cards in trash.
But we recently had a very surprise announcement. I don't think a lot of us were expecting it, or any of us were expecting it, in terms of a new ban list.
No one was. I mean, well, I think people expected it to get hit. People were not expecting it to happen yet, like that.
Right. And we got a surprise ban list drop on us. For those who aren't familiar with the idea of a ban list or what it is, basically Bandai does sort of it's sort of a regularly timed review of different cards of the meta that could use limiting. Now, we've talked about this before in terms of how they do the ban list. I think some of us have expressed the desire to see not the all or nothing approach that Bandai tends to do, where it's you just limit a card to 1. So that's really what happened with this list. For those who haven't seen it, we had 1, 2, I think it was 4 total cards that were hit, right? So you got the promo Weregarurumon, which was a key component to Melga. You had the promo Grand Kuwagamon, which was, again, a key component to the Grandest deck that people were playing from BT9, both BT9 decks. You had Blossomon, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like BT5, BT6, one of those BTs?
Sounds all right. I think it's 5.
It's an older one.
5, right? Which I guess was probably, we'll talk about it, but probably one of the more surprise picks, but was a very key component in the Bloom engine. And I think the most famous or most spoken about hit was the Imp from EX2. So looking at these 4, is there anything that stood out to you guys? I kind of mentioned how I thought Blossom was a bit of a surprise, but do you feel like there were surprises to this, or cards that you felt like were supposed to be on there but just didn't make it?
I feel like someone at Bandai fucked up and forgot to put the rest of the cards in the picture with the Greymon X. When they did that, I feel like they messed up, and they're supposed to put the Grand Kuwaga, the Melga, and the Blue and the Blossomon on that list, and the Imp was supposed to be by itself, and someone just fucked up the PNG and pushed the list on Twitter, and then they were just like, well, I guess that's how it is.
Wait till next time.
Yeah.
A lot of these picks are a format too late, right?
Well, I think Bandai knows that they're too late on these hits. Everyone's been saying it. I think that they're not that out of touch. I don't think. At least I'm sure there's some people at the work at Bandai that know to some degree. Sure. Because admittedly, yes, I know you're making the face, Arby, but Bandai does hit the stuff that is problematic. And they can be quick on it too. Think of Cross Art, right? They hit Cross 4 within a week after it released.
Yep.
The pain.
So I think anyways, but I think a lot of the hits are needed purely for future proofing, and I think they're also partially just hits to sell future product.
Yeah.
Impmon, as a Beelzemon player, yes, EX2 Imp needed to be hit. It is too fast sometimes, and on top of that too, the EX2 Imp just as a card by itself, for example, Jeremy, shout out to Jeremy and his Myotismon deck that kicked my Beelzemon deck's ass more times than I would like to count. it weirdly, well, not weirdly, but it works just too good in any mill deck.
Yeah.
And as we see with BT-14, we're getting more cards that focus on milling, right? Like we're getting that new Devimon, we have Deathmon, we have the option card that's a 1 cost that can mill 3. Like we're getting more mill engine pieces for things.
Yeah.
That EX2 Imp just accelerates all of those game plans and can be problematic in all of those game plans.
Yeah, because he works with any. What's his inheritable again? Is it the plus?
Inheritable is only for Beelzebub. He's not good as a Digivolution card. He's not good as an on play unless you're running Iron Makos in the deck, because you're probably not going to run. I mean, you can still run Blast modes in some of those. Like you can run Blast mode in Myotis and it still works just fine. Right? Because Blast mode doesn't specify Beelzebub.
Well, milling the 3 extra cards.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's mostly just the fact that you can turn your 2 mil or 3 mil into a 5 or 6 mil.
Yeah.
Like it goes so quick. And Bandai, they tried to put in a little thing where it can't mill itself and then continue to mill more. They tried to floodgate it a little bit, but it was, with what they gave BLs, it was just not enough. But I think the rest of the hits are all definitely late. I think all of us except for Jarrell played Melga a fair bit. And Melga definitely needed to be hit a while back, but it didn't really do anything right now. But
2 formats ago.
Yeah, the Wergaroo getting hit, I think, is to sell the structure deck Wergaroo that basically functions the same way, but just has to pitch a card now instead of just restanding for free.
That's not so bad. And
No, it's still not a bad card. It's fine. It's just the only other issue with those other newer cards is you can't run memory boosts in those at all because you're gonna just bottom deck your purple cards.
Yeah.
Unless you run a full purple Melga deck, which you can, but then you're gonna lose your X-Antibody stuff. So it's like, Grandis is not entirely dead because that Grand Kuago from BT-12 is honestly pretty good.
Yeah.
The fact that he can suspend an opponent's Digimon and then attack an opponent's Digimon, and he gains a memory for suspending an opponent's Digimon. So if you have X-Antibody on that stack, you can go up into him and basically have pseudo blitz and go into Grandis. Like I think I saw somebody top just recently actually with it at a couple at a local or something.
The store champ that I went to, somebody got second with it just because it. He was able to suspend like a Black War Greymon, swing over it, and just murder her.
And they also have quartz access too.
Yeah.
Like green having quartz.
Oh yeah. No, that was hilarious when he was like, "Wait a minute." I think he was playing against a security control player, and then the guy had so many tamers out, like the little memes and everything. And he was like, "Wait, Quartzmon!"
Oh no.
What else? And then the Blossomon, I think Bandai was not thinking about Digisorption. I don't think they were thinking about where the game was going to go when they made Digisorption as a mechanic.
No, I think that's why you don't see it as often, or for like the full refund.
Yeah, and we haven't seen new one. Last time the new one we saw was Cherrymon in.
Oh, Cherry and Piss, Cherry and Piss, yeah.
X3, yeah. Which that one's balanced out, I think. To make it so it's not just a free level 5. I think the big thing too with Blossomon, to be honest, in my opinion, I think the reason they hit it more than anything else is just so that they can have a reason to sell like Lilymon and other cards that are coming up for pro tags and future stuff.
Yeah,
people don't just default to just using Blossomon.
Yeah. That's fair. And I think you kind of touched upon what I was thinking about too, right? I think, yes, Grandis and the Grand Kuaga, Melga with the Wergaroo is probably due to be hit at some point, but they're probably also thinking ahead too, right? I'm sure we know that there's going to be Melga, or not necessarily Melga per se, but like Garuru support. There's probably going to be Grandis support at some point, like you mentioned. Yeah.
There should be Garuru support in
BT-15.
Yeah.
BT-15 will have Garuru support, and then we have the structure decks.
Right. So they're probably looking ahead to be like, look, like let's not make this a problem again. Yeah. So there's probably some future planning in play to
just rip the Band-Aid off now, basically, and get rid of it rather than leave it. It just it does suck for people that are playing Melga, because Melga's not really a problem right now. and now the deck is just pretty much. I mean, I'm sure there's other workaroos you can use, but they all kind of just suck. A lot of them.
I mean, comparatively, they just don't do what that card does.
Yeah.
They don't unsuspend and swing for.
They lose that
attacks.
aggression. They lose the security tech +1. Like it's bad news bears for them right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think this is probably a pretty good ban list on Bandai's part. I think we've had kind of, I wouldn't want to say beef, but we've definitely had like questioned why, or like the ban list members, if you want to put it that way, of previous lists. And now I feel like this one is a more comprehensive and more like reasonable ban list on Bandai's part that seems pretty like well encompassing of the issues that we've seen, and definitely I think helps keep the meta in check, not just like in this immediate period, right, but also like planning down the line. I think they did a pretty decent job with this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think right now after the Beelzemon hit, I think we're looking at a pretty balanced format. I think because in my opinion, I already thought it was fairly balanced because I as a Beelzemon player, I can feel the mortality or mortality of Beelzemon, because sometimes you don't just see your pieces. Sometimes it happens plenty. Sometimes you just check an option in security, or you hit a Quartzmon in security. That was for you, Jarrell. And then you cry, and you wonder why. As the saying goes, God gives his hardest battles to his stronger soldiers. But the deck was definitely very fast, and more often than not, it does just high roll and make other decks just very, very unplayable. Because we're definitely in a very racy format. Mm-hmm. That's not the right word, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Like Digimon, just
very, very fast format where every match feels like a race to just swing for security. The game is very swingy right now.
Yeah.
There's less like counter defensive play and more just me just put a lot of bodies out, or me make big stack and me just go through your entire security in a turn.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Ben is trying to solve with counter cards, is like they're trying to slow down, or not slow down, but just give people counter play.
Yeah.
But
which is nice.
I think Beelzemon getting hit does make things a lot more balanced right now. Because they definitely cannot high roll as easily. It still happen plenty, but it's not as consistent now. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were kind of going on the opposite end of the spectrum, or like kind of taking it a little bit further and saying like, well, BL's is dead now. And I think you kind of voiced your opinion on that already, TJ, but I agree. Like, I don't think BL's is by any means dead at all. Like, I still think it's definitely top tier. I don't know if it's like tier 0 or even like tier 1. I think probably like tier 1.5 to 1, right?
I think before it bordered on tier 0, I personally don't think it was. I just think it was a more consistent, strong deck.
Who played the deck? I don't think it was tier 0.
I lost plenty, bro. I'm just saying, like, I know the ins and outs. I know what it struggles against, and like a lot of times it's just like there's so many plays where I've played against you guys so much that a lot of it's just play style, where I'll recognize how you guys play and I'll do my best to counter you guys specifically when I play you. And that's the only times I won. And even then, I still would get bodied sometimes. Like Ben, for example, when he did 6 swings and there was no counter play, it was just me dead in the water.
How dare you give me?
But like I said, I think it was. I think it was.
How could you let me do that to you?
Yeah.
How could I?
Oh Christ.
No, I think it definitely borderlined tier 0, and I can understand the argument for it. Like that's whatever. I think right now the deck is still tier 1. I do not think it is top of tier 1. However, I think it is like somewhere in the middle. I think that on average, I think Hunters is definitely able to beat it out and be faster than it.
Yeah.
The only problem for Hunters is that Hunters requires a much higher, like, skilled, is a much more skilled pilot to to consistently do that. Because it's so easy to just do like the smallest, just micro misplay with hunters.
Yeah.
And then you realize, and you're just like, oh fuck. Or you can be like me and not realize that you have game in hand because you haven't arrested your mom that you can literally just go into to gain rush and swing for game, but your dumbass doesn't know how to read cards because you're a card game player. But yeah, so I think it's definitely still tier 1, especially after our Sunday. Like the deck showed that it can still do what it wants to do. It's just a little bit slower now.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I think this is a little bit of a overlap on our next topic, but like come Ultimate Cup, right? Like Bielsa is still pretty much a purple deck, right? Like there's really no, outside of maybe like slipping in that one copy or X antibody, right? Like it's still pretty much a mono purple deck.
Yeah, you just take the X antibody out and you put in like one BT-6 amp, or you put in another 7th full cluster or something. Like it's not a big deal. You just lose access to that goated ST14 Itmon swing, go into Bielsamon, X antibody when attacking, go into Biel's X. And
Are you sure you can do that? I've seen so many ruling questions. Yes, you can go into Bielsamon X.
You can raise your Itmon, you can put the X antibody under, you can swing the Itmon when attacking, go into Bielsamon for 3, activate his effect to mill, gain sec +1, gain your memory, resolve when attacking effective X antibody, go into BL's X, instantly mill their security, swing forever to checks, and you've probably done the play for. Let's see. In order to do the play, you need to have 20 cards in trash. You Digivolve for 3, so you're going to gain at least 2 back. So it's at most a 2 memory play for the 1 for Digivolving into Bielsamon and 1 for BL's X, and you're probably going to gain that back, so the play is probably free, or it gains you memory.
The key thing is just trigger X anybody last, or resolve X anybody last.
Yes. Yeah. But you can do it. Yes.
Yeah.
It is very possible. It doesn't look like it should be possible. It's dumb. It's stupid. But
the way Bandai orders other things, it's just a weird interaction that people get confused on.
Yeah, which is fair.
And I know we talked about it briefly, but like that's not the only card that can do that. Like the starter deck, Gilmon, starter deck, Vmon.
Literally every card that has an X antibody line and a warp can do it.
Yep. Especially the Gilmon, because Gilmon can actually can give the Gallant Blitz with Staccato.
Yeah.
And then actually activate the one attacking effective one. I think the only one that struggles with it a bit more is All Force, because they can't like do the one attacking and swing it and just go all in one thing. They have to keep turn after digivolving, which isn't the hardest thing with All Force right now.
I mean, the hardest thing is they need a level 6 on the opponent's side of the field.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
True. Yes. Yeah. Which is a lot harder to meet than it is to just have 20 cards in trash for BLs.
Some decks that just don't even play a level 6.
Yeah. I wonder what deck that is. Well, there's also some decks that when they have that level 6 on board, that play is useless right now.
Yeah.
Like if Wargrey has a level 6 on board and that's your counterplay, and they have their 21k Wargreymon just looking down.
I unsuspend my All Force unsuspend. If it bounces back the Greymon, it doesn't happen, but no.
Otherwise, a lot of times it's just gonna.
Otherwise, they just have protection against it, and then you kill yourself on accident.
Yeah.
So last thing about Banlist shenanigans before we move on, and this is just sort of like a sort of a hypothetical. I've seen some people talk about this, and I think it'd be an interesting idea, but I think I've seen some posts kind of float around the idea of reversing a ban, or like bringing things back off of the ban list and reintroducing them.
Free my boy Sanger Hawk.
Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts?
There's every other card game has moments where they're like, okay, this card is in a place where this card and the game itself is in a place where we can unban it.
Yeah.
What happens
think-
after that sometimes, though, it may not be
Yeah.
pretty, but
I do think Savior Huck is one that definitely could get unrestricted right now because I feel like I don't know. Terrell, where would you put Jessmon on a tier list right now if you had to like just shoot a shot in the dark off
Tier
the top of
2.
your head?
Tier 2.
Tier 2?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
Like low tier
I feel
2.
like Savior Huck. I don't even know if Savior Huck would change that necessarily.
It opens up some other plays you can do off the one Digivolving effect to play System 1 from hand. The unsuspend is kind of it's
Meh.
like it's hit or miss
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't even keep turn after Digivolving into like Just X or like GX.
Yeah,
So like
feel
it
like-
unsuspends, it gives you a blocker if you're in GX, but I mean it's like
true.
you have reboot seal for that now, so it's like Eh.
Yeah, I feel like I think Jessmon's play style is probably like, well, it's terrifying to watch 3 or 4 sisters hit the board in a turn. I feel like there's so much removal in the game now. I feel like Jessmon's playstyle is honestly what kind of harms it a little bit in a way, because I feel like a lot of times the plays can be so expensive.
Yeah.
And so punishing right now with certain cards we have, like Death X and Quartz, that
It
I
gets
don't know.
around DP based removal like Crimson Blaze with like the
Yeah.
with the GX and like the double boost, but like level against Beelzebub, like level target or like targeted level deletion is what's
Yeah.
killing the deck. Because it's like,
Yeah.
haha, I have 1 Blanc on board. They kill that Blanc, and you're like, haha, I have no more blockers.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, I guess doesn't help it either, is that Jessmon just deletes things. It doesn't bounce things or bottom deck things or anything like that. So, and Beelzemon isn't they don't mind being deleted as much because if they have the Ballmon effect live.
Yeah.
Um,
You swing, they bring
You
it back
don't-
out.
yeah, and you're kind of just back to where you were.
I've had exactly one scenario where I swung and I had the BT6 or BT7 Savior Hawk underneath, so I unsuspended. I killed their Ballmon, they brought out the Beelzemon, and I swung into that. I'm like, that's only.
What other cards are restricted that could be? What do you
Bring
think
back
about
Jet
Icemon?
Sylphie.
Jet Sylphie.
To 2.
Give me
That's
4.
another thing too.
Give me 4.
I do wish Bandai would do more than just either those cards at 1 or 0.
Yeah. And
I wish we had some 2 restricts, because I think that at least Yellow Hybrid would be able to function at this level. Like I think we had there was the one weird Yellow Hybrid that topped, and I saw someone. Okay, I saw a tier list the other day. I'm not gonna name names. It made me so aggressed because they put Yellow Hybrid in 1.5 like tier,
Oh,
like it was like tier 1 or tier 1.5. Oh, let me find the list real quick. Someone else just
Well, while he
Sidebar.
does that, I don't know. I feel like bringing Jet Sylphie up, the reason they banned it was it gave Yellow such easy access to recovery. Like, I mean, yes,
Yeah.
Yellow is recovery focused with like Magna Engine, like reinforcing, other cards, but like being able to just stack Jet Sylphies on top of one another to recover like 3 times in a turn. It's like,
yeah,
ooh.
it was
yeah, that was
Yeah.
toxic.
Okay.
it was a little.
They put Yellow Hybrid at 1.5 above Jespon, Dorbic, like Alpha.
Are these decks also in 1.5 or are they?
No, these are all like Rogue or tier 2 is what I'm listing right now. Above Masty, above Gallant, Armors,
Oh.
Grandis, Alter S, Minerva, Blue Hybrid, which I think Blue Hybrid with Mirage Gao top end is
I mean,
genuinely
I
still a
don't
good deck.
Yeah, I don't know if
Mm.
Yellow Hybrid deserves to be there, but I mean,
They put it right behind Examon, and I'm like, bruh, eh?
That's a bold claim.
Yeah,
Yellow Hybrid hasn't done anything. It had that one weird top. That's it. And otherwise, the deck doesn't perform because they don't have their hybrid. They don't have their piece to actually be a hybrid deck. They just play Rise Greymons and pray for the best, and then they go Venus.
I feel like I've seen
Hey,
Zoe
easy,
miss.
easy.
I've seen Zoe miss like so many times.
Yeah.
She does a lot. Well, yeah, because you're running like you're missing 3 cards that she used to be able to hit now, right?
Yeah.
And now it's just
Yeah.
it's pain.
Because you're only searching for 9 total.
Yep.
I think I think Bandai wants to find a different way for them to put out I feel like the Takato was a bit of a test to see where the BT Takuya. Sorry, the Takuya. There's too many T names.
Takuya, Takato, Taiki,
Taiki.
Taiki.
Kai Kamiya.
Taiko.
They like their Taik.
Yeah.
Taik.
Yeah. Takuya being able, like the Alderman being able to warp for 3 if you put the right cards underneath it. I feel like that was a bit of a test, and granted, he is still the worst Alderman.
If he had an inheritable.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just more effects to warp into that instead of just reducing the cost. If you have a tamer underneath it, because that's been so powerful for every single hybrid deck. Just being able to go into your level 5 for only 3 memory.
Yeah.
I will say, it doesn't need it at all. It'd be completely overpowered. But could you imagine if that Alda had an inheritable that like said like end of your turn, if this Digimon has hybrid in its traits, gain blitz or something like that? Like imagine if you could blitz with Emperor Grey after going into that Alda.
I think that'd be a tier 0 deck. It just
It would make the card worth playing in the deck.
Yeah, I would.
More than one of.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't just pass from Emperor Grey, then sit there on him and just pray and be like, all right, don't pop him. Or don't pop him. Give me some tamers back. Don't bounce him.
Yeah. Swinging for 2 checks and giving the opponent 3 memory, they'll take that. And then popping a Digimon.
True.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about Gallant. We've talked a little bit about All Force too, and we've touched upon Yellow Hybrid. I think all decks that are very relevant in the upcoming format, right? You know, with UltiCup coming up and this monocolor shebang. So, you know, looking into what's coming up, I think our first one is what? Saturday?
Yeah.
The way this man segues makes my knees weak. God damn. You
know, what are your guys' thoughts on what the outlook is? You know, I think we've touched a lot about Beelza, right? You know, we've talked a lot about that already with, it's still going to be very good. You know, it's still going to be very strong. It's still going to do what it's going to want to do. But now with the new set of UltiCup rules, which are different from, or the Banlist, which is a little bit different compared to the first set of Ultimate Cups and I think the most recent one as well. You know, what do you guys feel like are the standout decks, the decks to beat, or are there any like sleeper decks that you guys feel like could sneak in there?
Has anybody done a whole lot of UltiCup testing?
Goldie's tried.
Yeah, he's
like half testing.
Bless his Floridian heart. He's tried so hard to do UltiCup testing.
It's not even him. It's the Discord.
I know, dude. It's amazing how people.
Shout out to our friend who just wants to play UltiCup. Goes into a
UltiCup format. Goes to play an official Discord. People go UltiCup, right? Yeah, and he'll go, yeah, and then they proceed to play Black Hybrid with Bokos.
Yeah.
Or they play
Red Hybrid
with X Anybody. Or they play Wargrey with Cool Boys. Like it's man, it's so funny.
The best part is they try to like reason it out too.
Yeah. No, dude, the people.
Oh man, flashbacks to X Anybody ignores color requirements, so that means they ignore color the rules for the tournament, right?
Card,
not in the deck. Not in the deck.
All of a sudden, that card's like real red to me, brother. It's like real red.
I can't wait for somebody to like Sharpie over the just X Anybody. Yeah. It's red.
Oh.
Looking at the tops for the other regions, UltiCups, a lot of Beelzemon, which is a given. I think Machine Drumon's coming up. I think, and what is it, Black Base Machine Dramon? I think they're doing it.
Black Base Machine is the better way because the Numamons, the Dorumons, Security Dorumon is making appearances in it right now. There's just better black cards for Machine Dra, and you really don't lose much because you have so many black cards now that do give a lot of the same inheritables that Red gave.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the only thing, which I think you can still get it, I'm not entirely sure, I don't play Machine enough, is the piercing off Metal Gray. Is the only thing you kind of lose access to, which you can just run the new Metal Gray for that now. So
Well, no, you have to be
oh no, you
Greymon.
just have Greymon and name. Never mind, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So never mind. So you can't do that. So you lose that. I don't know if there's another black level 5 that gives piercing off the top of my head.
I don't think there
I don't
is.
think so. I don't think so. I think
But I know for rookies, people are running like Doru, Sunariza, and Hagurus. Low 4s is Numemons, Gardramons. I saw someone running a Gladimon, like the one from the Ragnarlord structure, and I was just like, huh? I think it's a 1 cost to Digivolve though. I think that's why. But they also only had 2 Numemons in the deck, and I'm like, why not just use another Numemon?
True.
Oh no, that's not. That's what they're doing. Instead of running piercing with the metal gray, they're running metal Tyranno, just killing
Yeah,
something,
they
and then they trash the top.
Yeah, which makes sense. It's better play
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, black base Machine Dra I think looks good ulti. I think Gallant looks really good ulti.
Gallant's gonna
Gallant right
be
now
solid.
feels good.
Yeah.
Gallant feels so good right now to
I
play.
mean, it's a lot of what we talked about before. You know, we're Bloom being strong.
Yeah, Bloom Quartz.
Yeah.
Even with Hydramon to 1, that's fine.
All Force
Lord and Quartz.
All Force having a, you know,
We might
doesn't
see
have to
less
worry that
blooms
much
though.
about stuff getting tucked underneath
Yeah, All Force will do
the
good.
tamer.
We might see less blooms though because of the Blossom on restriction.
Yeah.
'Cause that's in
Oh,
addition.
didn't there were a couple UltiCups that ran.
The only ulti cup
Um,
restriction for bloom was Hydra.
Yeah. We didn't have I don't think the ban lists were in effect yet for the new. No, because it was just this weekend, right? That we had ulti cups. So they were in effect. And I think Bloom's still top, and so did Machine.
I think well the
Hold on.
7th place Bloom only ran one Blossom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here.
So
Yeah, I see it. Because they also
Yeah,
run
Oceania
Argomon.
and Latin America.
even though the first place Bloom also only ran one Blossom, so I think players were probably just testing it out.
Yeah, Oceania had Machine Dra top.
Ban or not, you know, edit the deck to how it's going to play.
Red
going forward.
base. Red base Wargrade Dorbic, Gallant, Bloom, Biels, Machine, All Force. Yeah, I mean those are like the. We'll still see some Wargrade and Black Wargrade players that run a few of those things, but otherwise most of the tops are gonna just probably be Gallants, BLs, Machine, and Bloom, and then All Force will trickle in there a few places. Partially because people can't afford the deck, and partially because the deck is also just.
What do you
consistency issue.
mean? You just need $4 $50 That's $200 on one.
$200 for a tier,
Yeah.
for a bottom of 1.5 deck, top tier 2. But sometimes on on a bad day. There was a decent amount of All Force placements in LATAM. They had, I think it was 4 of them. Yeah, it looks like there was 4. One got second.
Yeah, for of course.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know. I know since I'm playing in the one this Saturday, I'm considering. I was like gonna do red hybrid because I was like, I played Gallon in the last one. Granted, that was before BT-12, and I'm like, I mean, I could play Gallon again, but literally.
I want to plug your stream, brother. Twitch.tv/
But literally earlier, how would you think Red Shine Gray would do?
Red Shine.
Red base Shine Gray? Yeah, because I mean,
okay. Here's the thing. No matter what you do, Shine Gray is going to be red.
yeah, because you have to play the old Marcus.
Every Shine Gray card you play is red yellow. That's worth playing. You don't play any of the old BT2 or BT3 yellow stuff because the old Agu, Geo Gray, and Rise Gray are like the Rise Gray's okay, but there's we have better Rise Grays. Rise Gray X and BT11 or BT12 Rise Gray are way better. And then I mean the only reason you wouldn't run red Shine Gray if you wanted to run the yellow Shine Gray from BT4, was it? Or BT2 or what? I can't remember what it was, but that's the only reason you wouldn't run red base, because otherwise right now your level 4 lineup looks like ST7 Agu, Agu X, and then the new Agu. Some people will run the BT12 Agu. I don't like it personally because you don't really need to grab ties, and he's not a dinosaur, he's a reptile. And in my opinion, I think the consistency for being a dinosaur and Digivolving over a Koro is more important. The hardest thing right now for Red Base Shine Gray is their level 4 lineup, because you only have 2 Geo Greymon that are worth running, which is the ST7 Geo Gray and then BT-12 Geo Gray. And then, like, for me, I decided to run the BT-5 Greymon because he gains a memory if an Agumon's in there, so it's basically still saving you that memory for the Rise Gray Digivolve because you're still 1 memory cheaper. So it still maths out just fine. However, it does not feel as good.
Oh, I don't know, because I was just partially considering Shine Gray. I was like, maybe that could do.
I mean, Masaru for game, not bad. I mean, when you swing with that Marcus at 21k for 2 checks, it feels good. It feels real good.
How big those
I mean,
machine guns?
This was like early in testing for me, but I had fun with the yellow hybrid Shine Gray sort of combo. I think it could use definitely a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of optimization, but it was fun. And definitely, like, I mean, you're hitting tamers for sure. Decks.
I think the yellow Shine Gray thing definitely benefits off of the older Shine Gray more.
Yeah.
The older SR, to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
Newer Shine Gray stuff is so focused on Marcus, and Marcus is so focused on not being a hybrid and just being him and punching things.
Right.
So I wish that it had. I mean, really, the thing that happened to Rise Hybrid or Rise Gray Hybrid was when they lost Sunrise Buster. Sunrise Buster going to 1 is what really killed that deck more than as an alternative to Sylphie, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Fair. Fair.
But yeah, man, could you imagine if we had like fucking Kazemon for 2, Jet Sylphie for 1, Recover 1, Venus for 3. Their turn. Or Venus is Venus 4?
Venus is 4. Yeah.
Still, that's fine. Could you imagine? Oh, beautiful.
I might try to see if I can make that work. But yeah, no, that's what I'm considering Red Hybrid Gallon and that for UltiCup this weekend.
It is fun. I wish I would have signed up for UltiCup. I probably would have played Gallant.
I probably would have done Blue Hybrid. See what happens.
Mirage Gallant Blue Hybrid, man.
You wanna lend me a list on Thursday? Nah, just joking.
Speaking of Thursday, I'm probably gonna play All Force Thursday because I got all my All Force pieces.
Ooh.
So I'm ready.
Is Thursday UltiCup format?
No, Thursday is just normal format.
No, it's just locals.
But it's our double box / store champ. So.
Oh fuck! It's a wall. I guess I'm going All Force double box.
You've done this to yourself.
I don't need any more BT-12 boxes. It's fine. I have so much BT-12. That box that I won, all the bulk in there, I'm gonna just give to a friend because I have nowhere to put it.
I need you to win the store champ pricing though, so I can buy it off you.
I mean, I'll play Beelzebub on that day, sure.
No, it's Thursday. Literally we're using the store champ pricing as part of the double box.
Yeah, you and your own, Chief. I'm sorry.
This motherfucker. All right, RB, you're playing Hunters.
I think I've won like one local Hunters.
I don't think there is anybody in our locals group that plays Jessmon like you do that wouldn't be willing to sell or trade those cards. To be honest.
We'll see. Right.
The thing is that if one of us gets it, you just get it at a discount. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I already have one set of top 4, so I can let go of another set.
This guy.
Oh no.
I was 4th place.
Hey, that's all you need. That's all you need, brother. That's all it takes.
Oh my god. But yeah, we are our store champ, even though it isn't listed as a store champ, is going to use the double box for additional pricing.
Yeah.
Oh, because Bandai fucked shit up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Anyway, back to UltiCup.
Yep. I just saw a last name in that top 16 list that triggered me on the Latin America.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be interesting. I'd be curious to see. I personally won't be playing, but I'll try to tune in and see.
Yeah, we can all tune in at twitch.tv/pinoitaku.
Swear to God.
Watch, man. You can catch our boy Jarrell fucking kicking ass and chewing bubblegum or some combination
More
of
like
that.
dying horribly because
Nah. Confidence, brother. You got this.
I'm gonna be the
you
one.
Don't think you can win.
There's gonna be one guy that pops in from the video that says, "I'm gonna watch that guy." Then he's gonna pop in and he's gonna watch you lose, and he's be like, "I thought you guys told me this guy's gonna."
Nah,
kick
dude,
ass."
I'm gonna be 0-3 with Shine Gray.
If you play Shine Gray, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Unless they check like 2 Marcuses off security, and then you just go.
Yeah.
Listen, man. The one time I was playing against Ben was really funny because I dropped the Aguban tie, and he's like, "Oh." I didn't go into Aguban once, but you know, it's a fun threat.
Ben, I forgot to tell you when I ordered all my pieces for
Why didn't you go on Heat?
Oh, I didn't get an opportunity to. Oh, but yeah, no. This is funny.
When I ordered all my pieces for the Alt-Art Ulforce and or not Alt-Art Ulforce, sorry, normal Ulforce stuff and all my Alt-Art Marcus and Shine Gray stuff. We finished up on Sunday, right? And like we're chilling, whatever. So first of all, Drell pulled a Shine Gray, Alt-Art Shine Gray on Thursday.
Yeah.
All right. I ordered all my stuff on Wednesday because that's when I got paid. So I was like, I should have waited. I should have waited till after the locals for the weekend to see if anyone wanted anything before I ordered stuff. But my dumb ass was like, man, this money's burning a hole in my pocket. I want to order these cards. I want to have them. I want to be good to go next time I play these decks. Next day, Drell pulls Ultra Shine Gray.
I pulled it out of my
that's fine.
participation pack.
Yeah, out of participation pack, and I'm just like, I would have bought it from you, man. I'm sorry, but I already ordered the cards. It is what it is, And I'm just like, and I felt bad because I was like, I would have rather have given Jarrell money for the cards rather than another TCG player shop.
Yeah.
We move on to Sunday.
Oh no.
I win with Beelzemon. I do pretty good. I go 4-0. Win our prize packs. Open the prize packs. Only hit 1 SR out of I think it was 6 packs. And I hit 1 Beelzemon X. Everyone else doesn't really get shit out of their packs. I think Stack got an Alt-Art Gallant, which was sick.
Yeah.
Rio
week in a
on
row.
a whim decides to go and just buy some packs.
No, he didn't buy them. He got them. He got them for judging.
Store credit. Store credit.
Yeah, store credit for judging.
So store credit picks up some packs for judging.
Yeah.
Opens his packs. Fucker pulls Alt-Art Marcus and Alt-Art Shine Gray.
Oh,
both of them.
Both of them. Almost back to back. There's a 1 pack in between, and I'm sitting and I'm just like, I play and sweat my ass off all the time. I was literally like, it should have been. I sweat my ass off all format playing Beelzemon to try and get those Shine Gray Alt-Arts so I can play Max Rarity Shine Gray. Don't pull a single fucking one. I have to buy all of mine. And then this motherfucker just struts up, waddles on over, grabs his goddamn packs, waddles on back to the room, opens them, and just sits bang bang, $100 out of the packs. Are you fucking kidding me?
$100. He opened up way more than that. There's like 100.
I know.
130.
Listen, if I bring the price down, it makes me feel better, Arby. Anyways, I'm malding.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to UltiCup.
Back to UltiCup.
I don't know.
UltiCup's gonna be fun. I'm excited to see how it goes this weekend. I always just love tuning into your streams and just watching what you do.
I can't wait to go against 10 different Gallants out there playing Gallant.
True though. What was it last time when you were playing Gallant? Did you play 3 Bloom Lords back to back?
Yeah, I played 3 Bloom Lords in a row and I wanted to die.
But again, repeat history.
Swear
Let's
to
do
God.
it.
Someone lend me a machine deck. I'm gonna tell Shane to lend me his machine deck. Or Camry.
That was the other thing I was gonna say too. And it's gone. Never mind. All right, I'm not gonna say it anymore. Just like that.
So I think just moving on to our last segment of the episode, I think we talked last time about trying to do some like fun segments or like random segments where we kind of talk about sort of like a miscellaneous thing, just kind of keep it nice and fresh. I think this week we'll have a couple. I'll throw out a couple for you guys. First one being, I feel like Bandai does a pretty good job generally overall, right? And TJ, this question might trigger you, so I'm sorry.
I already know what it is. I don't know what it is.
About, throwing in pretty nice alt arts, pretty nice secrets too. But probably the worst feeling one that you've ever pulled. You're like looking for it, cracking a box. You're like, look, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna get some nice, pretty shiny cardboard. And then you're like, well, fuck. This is what I'm left with.
Alt Art Black War Grey X. I don't care what any son of a bitch says. That alt art is the worst fucking alt art that Bandai has ever thought to put out. I'm going to be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of Asmari art. I appreciate their style. It is very impressive. However, I don't think that it looks that great on some Digimon. And I think that taking a fucking stamp of Yuya and just basically going bitch and slamming him on top of Black War Grey X, basically just blocking the entirety of Black War Grey X's entire art is just like, what? And it hurts even worse because you look at every other alt art in that set because they're all with their tamers and they all look so good. They all look amazing.
I'm gonna start sleeving my Yuyas with the tamer. I'm just gonna put Black War Grey X as a Yuya.
And even
Proxy for
Yuya's
Yuya.
alt art is amazing. Yuya's alt art is beautiful.
Yeah, that one's a beautiful.
That should have been Black War Grey X's alt art if they wanted to fucking put him as a poster boy and plaster him in front of it. Because at least that looks good because it's all blended together. You use an entirely different art style. All right, I'm sorry.
Stamped him over.
Aside from that,
I'm cringe.
I don't know about any like I can't remember like any bad alt arts in recent memory at least. I my thing is like when you crack a rare Magnadramon X antibody and you're like, oh, it's sweet, it's an SR. No, it's just a rare.
Yeah,
When the rares that are like over the top
that go over the border.
Admittedly, though, I do appreciate that to a degree. Well, it's confusing because you are like, man, I thought it was an SR. Shit, it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
it's cool that we get rares like that now that do have that level of quality to them. That they look better than just a rare, especially when they're in the deck and being used. It just sucks that a lot of the cards that have it are not the greatest cards.
Yeah.
Manager BT-15?
I think for me, I mean, the art, I'll say it's not bad, but I cracked like a decent amount of BT-8, and every single damn box I cracked had an alt art Digimon. I'm like, why the fuck do I have a Digimon? What am I gonna do with this guy?
Armadillo armors. I've been preaching.
Yeah, wait for
the gospel.
Wait for Armadillo armor.
We got that Submary alt art now, dude. You can run full alt art armors, Ben. Look at you. All
right. Going back to UltiCup for a sec. Who's cooking me an Armadillo armor red yellow hybrid list?
I'll do it. I'll do it. Give me a day.
Let me see.
Do you even have enough Armadillomons in the game?
We'll get him. We'll get him. Ben's got him.
I can run Patabons and Pegasusmon. Let's go.
With all the fucking Submarymons, the fucking Digmons, we're blinging out.
Oh yeah, brother. Hell yeah. I do wish that the other O2 kids armors actually like functioned with a deck.
Yeah.
With those, because they don't do. They're all terrible. They're all so mid.
That's why none of them are SRs.
The only one that isn't a VMon armor that's good is the Gold Rapid.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's also an SR.
Yeah.
And that's
Man. Oh god. Black War Grey X's alt art could have been so cool. And they just put Yuya and fucking just barfed him onto the goddamn art.
I guess thinking about it now, I really don't like Jesmon GX's alt art. There's just so much going on that I can't even tell it's a Jesmon GX.
Yeah, they look like it's very flashy, but I feel like that they overdid it. You kind of lose the Digimon and all the fucking.
It is everything. A blur of red and yellow to me.
What was GX part of? Was he BT? Was that 10?
BT-10, yeah. And same thing with the Jess X antibody too, right? Like that one was a little better, I think, but it was still like very busy.
Then you got Chad as Ganku X over here.
I was about to say Ganku X.
Ganku X is clean.
Looking like fucking Ganondorf over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I didn't like the X antibodies of that, or like the alt arts for those guys as much.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say though, 9.9 times out of 10, Bandai hits it with the alts. The alts,
yeah.
Overall, and I mean that's what first brought me into Digimon initially. Was my buddy like showed me some of the cards. I saw the art and I was like, "Holy fuck, that is like I was playing Digimon as a kid,
absolutely
and
beautiful."
And I'd seen packs in like shops, but I just never like bit the bullet and like purchased anything because I was like, I'm not a card game player right now. And then he showed me that art, and then that same day that I saw the art, I went and bought 2 Ulforce decks and and like 2 boxes because I had just gotten paid, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's go."
And then
I don't think there's any other alt arts that are bad. I think we.
No, not specifically alt arts that are bad, but
I do think
I
there's
will
ones
say-
that are lazy.
I will say it feels bad to pull a secret alt art out of this set specifically because both of them are so terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
event pack cool boy. Could you, if you could even consider that an alt art? It's just him like
No,
zoomed out
the
more.
white. I mean, yeah, the white is.
Yeah. It's like the winners pack cards, right? Like the winner pack cards we get are like just they're not foiled like the participation cards are. They just have that weird
I have
like background.
no idea why the winner packs are not foiled.
foiled.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Why.
they put foiling against fucking Submarima. That's one that triggers me. I have gotten Submarimon every single fucking time. Stop giving me Submarima. I'm never gonna play him.
I will say I think that the alt arts in BT-13, or not the alt arts, but those like rare arts, those chase arts
Yeah.
yeah.
that are like just like the like matrix code like background.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
You can't even see on the shine gray, first of all, like hardly. The other ones you can see it, but it's just like
I think it really feels like Bandai trying to justify the increased price for boxes.
yeah,
Growing.
while giving still minimal effort on trying to
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, guys, we put out a new rarity.
Oh man, I can't wait for the case of BT-13. So excited. I
Last
will say
time,
I do like
yeah.
Are you guys getting a?
I do
are
like
you getting
the
a-
alt arts, the alt art like theme for the Royal Knights in BT-13. I do love that. I love that they're
Yeah.
doing that again.
Oh,
Those are nice.
gorgeous.
Those are real nice.
Anyone
Yeah.
want to start a GoFundMe so I can get my case so I can max already Royal Knights?
I don't know. I don't know
I
if
will
you
try
can
and help
secure. I don't know if you can secure a case like for that much or for a big like a decent discount at this point.
He can try. He can try. Godspeed, soldier.
Yeah. Are you getting a case, Ben? Did you and Shane pre-order one?
No, not yet, but we probably should get on that.
Yeah.
It's
what
just,
were you gonna say, guys?
it's just like I don't know. The new price tag is just it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I was gonna say last sort of fun question for the evening. Mechanics we would like to see. You know, I think we talked a little bit about it already with like counter and like these ace cards that are coming out with the new starter decks eventually. But do you feel like there's another mechanic that maybe you've seen in other games or just a new one that you feel like could be useful in the meta that now that we've played this game for, you know, over a year now that feel like with the way things are going would be helpful to introduce or help with some of the flow of the game, like any new mechanics that we feel like we'd like to see?
Oh man, I think
That's gonna be a tough one.
the ace mechanic's a good one that's being introduced. I think that one's solid.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really the first thing I can think of is just give us. I want to see more effects that resolve from hand or trash.
Yeah.
Don't make them OP though, because obviously we don't have much interaction there. Like we have some cards that can put cards back into deck from trash, and we have some cards that can trash cards from opponent's hand. But there's not much of that. Which I feel like Bandai is like they're tiptoeing on it because they want to start dabbling in that, but it looks like they want to give us more effects that can control it,
Yeah.
as opposed to what happened with Tamers and Hybrids, where for the longest time we had Tamers and we had Hybrids, but they were not giving us cards to answer Tamers on board efficiently to slow down Hybrids. And so Hybrids were just ruling the meta, specifically blue, because you just couldn't play the game when they'd lock you out. That's one thing I still don't like Stunning Man as a mechanic. I have my gripes with it. I just think that a mechanic that completely shuts you out of playing the game is just not good. I think that is not good.
The only thing that I think they haven't touched on as to like looking at cards for is Digivices. I was gonna say crests along with that too, but crests are only applicable to a handful of the Tamers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is literally just the adventure set.
Well, it's
but just
01 and 02 kids.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
like Digivices
Do you
as
think
a
they would
whole,
make they would make another card type or
I don't.
That's something that
I don't know. It's like something akin to like enchantments or like field spells, maybe.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say field spell idea type things. Like
So you just have
Give
one,
us-
one of it out. You only
Yeah.
have one.
maybe you can only
Maybe.
control one of this card at a time or something like that. Yada yada. But it's like it's a specific type of option that you can play
Yeah.
that like does give like a blanket effect on the field. Obviously nothing too powerful because we don't have like option removal. But
Maybe
that would be something
maybe
that I
take the
think would be
effects of
neat.
like maybe take the effects of like the starter deck tamers and just make them like a 0-cost option. Because like the starter deck tamers, they're like really like small, like red ties, like
they're
all
just-
your Digimon get plus 1k. And it's like
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be dangerous with like starter deck TK. Everything.
oh, your security Digimon. Oh my god. I'm still having flashbacks to that one.
Yeah.
There was one guy that showed up to Dean's and he showed up like kind of regularly, but he hasn't shown up ever since like before like the giant break that we had.
Yeah.
He played 3 starter deck TKs against me, and I'm like, that
Oh.
security is plus 6k. I'm going to die if I swing into that. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I Hades sourced all his TKs. No, I didn't Hades source it, but like I think I was playing Black
Yeah.
Core. Maybe I don't know. There was like
I think fusion's pretty good. I think like save, like we already kind of have like, or not. I think like the option field spell thing is neat. We already kind of have fusion mechanics with DNA Digivolving. We already have like shit like
Biomerging.
almost like XYZ and Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm just using Yu-Gi-Oh terms because I was a Yu-Gi-Oh player before this, but with like Digicrossing is
Yeah.
probably the closest thing to that. I feel like.
Yeah.
What about an exile, a banished, or a
just like a flat out remove from game.
remove from
It
game?
would be interesting to have an effect like that for certain things. It'd be neat to see how they do that, but I don't know how they would. In a way right now with how the game is
Well,
designed.
yeah,
Function
because
well.
Digimon's so like chaos degradation. people already hate getting hit by chaos degradation.
Oh, you know what I want to
Do
see? I want to see more cards that have trash effects when they're trash from security or when they're trash from deck or something like that.
We are getting a
Not
couple of
just-
those. Like they're yellow cards primarily for the Kintaro
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah,
yeah,
the counter,
well, and that's-
yellow getting
Just because there's so many cards now that trash security,
yeah.
because we're getting more and more of that now. As every set that comes out, we're getting more stuff like that because there's so many like security effects that are like cracked sometimes. That Bandit started putting in trash and security stuff to give decks better chances of like surviving all their stuff, like Beelzemon for example. And I think it'd be interesting to have more cards that have like when this card is trash from security or something like that. Yada yada.
Yeah. That's fair.
Speaking of interesting effects that are gonna come out around like BT-13, how about another egg where it has like a breeding phase? You get a Bagra egg, and then you can put cards underneath it and play it.
I mean, we're kind of getting that with Yggdrasil.
Mm.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Just
Yeah.
like a Bagra version of that.
Oh, he's taking the cap off. Oh no, he's done it.
You dare say that goddamn word in my presence. You fucking dare with your pro tag hair and your I already got my top 4 for champs and got some cool cards and I'm so good at things. You know what I mean? You know what? Fuck you.
I didn't get first. I lost in the first round.
Oh my god.
I would like to see. I know a friend who's gotten a lot of Bagramons, and maybe.
Oh, I wonder who that is.
Yeah, maybe.
Definitely isn't the guy that's pulled 4 regular art and 2 alt-art Bagras out of every fucking thing he touches. Nope, couldn't
Out
be
of
me.
out of the 6 boxes.
Couldn't be me. Brother, definitely that guy sucks. That guy's a fucking loser.
Well, on that note,
Just something to give his Bagramon.
well, on that note, any last thoughts, guys? Any closing thoughts before we wrap this
Yeah.
episode up?
To another new meta soon.
EX4 will be out probably by the time we do our next cast because Jarrell's gonna be gone.
Oh,
That's
it's
something
gonna
we
be
should
after
mention.
that.
Yeah. So our king, our savior, Jarrell, is gonna be gone. He's going on a trip for 2 weeks, so the podcast is gonna be down for a while.
As far as locals recordings goes, I'm gonna stagger them. I'm not gonna do like all at once like I have been doing. I'm probably gonna do like one like every other day while I'm gone and just schedule the uploads. But on the, I guess like on the thought, like real quick on the thought of mechanic, I hate that they called overflow. They should have called him Emerald League. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's true.
Yeah.
That is actually fucking Bandai. Hire this man.
Nah.
Put him on your creative team.
It's not too late, Bandai.
You can fix it.
Hey man, I can fix their app. But anyway, but yeah, no. Content is going to be drip fed for a while. Over the next couple weeks.
You know, real final thought on the topic of EX4, or not top. Well, you know, on me mentioning that as a topic. What is everyone's favorite like decks that are most look forward to? Just real quick, what decks is everyone looking forward to the most for EX4? Just mess around with.
I'll play a Sleepy Baby deck.
That's 13. That's not EX4. That's 13.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I don't think is there anything in EX4 that really changes the meta? Like,
No, we just get some stuff.
Blue Flare gets some support, which is probably.
I guess
Grey
like,
Knightsmon. We get the Grey Knightsmon stuff with Blue Flare. We get Alter S. We get Megidra Mill becomes something that's a little bit more playable. Blue Flare gets access to Kuzaha, which is strong for it.
Yeah.
You get the Alliance deck. We get access to the new, well, not new, but we'll have the option of playing the whole just pure Gaiomon deck. That's pretty decent. Security Control gets Shadow Seraphi, which.
yeah, Black Omni.
And then Ravemon. Alter S. Fair.
Yeah, we got Alter S, and then we start seeing like the stuff for like the Sabers decks.
For real. What about you, Ben? You got something?
I think Blue Flare support is what I'm looking forward to, but the Alter S also. I think that's probably something
I'm looking forward to putting a Ruin mode in Beelzemon.
Yep.
You
Yep.
mean motherfucker.
You can do it. You can do it. I saw people do it, and it's scary. I think for me personally, Alter S is probably the thing I'm most looking forward to. But I am looking forward to messing around with the Savers stuff. So like Rave, and then actually being able to do like Shine Gray and Mirage Gao at a more functioning level. And I'm gonna try my damnedest to make decks for Victory Gray and Z Garuru because I love both of them as Digimon, but fuck me, are they rough to build?
Terrible.
I know. I think Victory's okay. Z sucks.
Z, yeah, he's a sad boy. Sad boy.
And then also I can't wait to just get rid of my War Greymon and Black War Greymon decks and just make a Gaiomon deck. So that's me.
Nice. Well, I think on that note, thanks for tuning in, everybody, once again. The support does mean a lot. Feedback is always welcome as well. Again, things you want to hear about, things you feel like maybe we can discuss more of, discuss less of. We're always open to hearing all of that.
Yeah.
If you do appreciate the content, drop a like, subscribe. As Jarrell said, the next couple weeks will be a bit slower, but we'll get back to it soon enough. Safe travels, King. Have a good trip.
Yeah, have fun in the Philippines. It's always more fun.
Bring back those Jollibee sleeves, please.
Oh, actually, though, yes. If you find them.
I'll keep an eye out.
And enter some Filipino store champs while you're there.
So little side tidbit. I actually don't know. Like, I was gonna bring my cards, but like I don't know if they play Japanese or English there. Because it is an Asian, it is an Asian region.
Asian region. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen Filipino tops and stuff like that, and it's Japanese. I'm like,
so time to just buy a max rarity deck in Japan.
Yeah.
Japanese.
It's time.
Maybe I'll buy some Royal Knights packs. We'll see.
It's time to buy a Hunter's deck in Japan.
He's in a cave. We're gonna be like, oh, Jarrell, how's it going, man? How's your trip? He's gonna walk in with a case of BT-13 from Japan that's unopened. Or not Japan, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Bye-bye.